For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to episode
You are
96.
such a cunt.
Why? People have no context
Right.
why you're just attacking me in the intro, very professionally done, of our show.
Isaac, we
on.
had everything set up, ready to go.
We've done the
We've got a
tests.
hell of a show ready for you.
Naturally. People get that.
He had his fingers on the keyboard above
Yeah.
Control R, ready to record. I said, what episode is it? He said 96. I said, off you go then, because even episodes are Isaac's to do the
Because
introduction.
I'm even and Declan's odd.
That's me. And he, as soon as I said this, paused. He took his fingers away from the keyboard and thought and said, how shall I do the intro? Because it's been a while since I've...
It has to be authentic.
Changed it up.
Has to be authentic and true to the moment. And I realised that what was true to that
And a minute
moment,
later, he did
it was
exactly the same as he'd
normal.
always done.
Yeah, but that's what was, I'm not going to
Stop
fake
wasting
it.
all our time.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Isaac. That's Declan over there. And you're joining us for, the classic Sunday episode that we've been doing for weeks now.
No, but the thing is that they're not.
Why?
Because we've changed it up again. We've basically got content.
Come on, you can't keep
This
doing
is it.
this
This
to
is the
people.
new task, right? We've got content coming out of our ear
You
holes.
can't just pinball people around with content this week, no content that
It's
week.
like a content nosebleed. You
I'm
just
getting
can't stop
whiplash.
it.
You
Lean
can
back
stop
all
it.
you
Do
want.
you think you can't stop a nosebleed?
Not unless it really wants to.
Wow, okay. Is that medical advice you're giving out to all listeners on the
look,
show?
I'm
Just
not.
Best
It's not
of luck.
advice. I'm just saying, if it doesn't want to be stopped, it won't be.
Okay, fair
Don't believe any of this lean backs. You're
supposed to
stuff
lean
a tissue
forwards,
up your
I've
nose.
heard. If
Yeah,
anyone-
I know, but
So it doesn't go down
people
the
like
throat.
me with the moustache, that just you've got a
Straight.
blood-stained moustache.
That can be a good look, though, because people think, wow, wonder what he's
He's
been
been in a
eating.
fight.
I bet. So, yeah, we've got a Sunday episode tinged with novelty this week because Declan apparently, unbeknownst to the rest of us, me included, has prepared what he's called half a
I haven't
feature.
prepared.
Has encountered what he's called half a feature.
Not really a feature.
Do you want to launch with it or do we launch with other things? Because I've got a discussion point.
Come in with the discussion point. We'll come in with this
Sorry
later.
about that knock of the microphone
Wow,
there.
bloody
Twice
hell.
I did it. That would be a horrid noise for you to listen to.
6.2 on the Richter scale.
This comes from an email that we were sent on the 25th of June. It was 4:19 p.m. What were you doing yourself?
I plead the fifth.
Okay, well, that makes you sound like a criminal. Well, that's fine. The title of it is enigmatic. As enigmatic, really, as the content itself. And the title, as you will remember, is the one word, all caps, phrase.
Oh.
Petscop. P-E-T, Scop. S-C-O-P. And it comes from our big contributor pal, Joe D'Angelo. In the search for content,
And also real life pal.
Yeah, they were all separate things. He's a big contributor. He's a contributor pal. He's a big contributor pal.
He's a big pal.
Yep. All of those words apply to my image of Dange. That's how I file him in my head. In the search for content, he says, I would like to point you to Petscop, comma, the haunted video game. I won't say much, just read this article, which he's linked us to, and which I in turn will link you to, and head to our Petscop on Reddit. The mystery, says Dange, is waiting to be solved. So I didn't look into it straight away, and it had been, I think, a couple of days before I was reminded of, oh, that sounds enigmatic, and I had a read of the article, and it was a confusing read. As I say, I'll link to it, and I do recommend you have a look. It tells the story of a PlayStation 1 game being demonstrated on YouTube in a kind of Let's Play style by a guy who may or may not be called Paul, who may not be alive currently or indeed real at all. And he plays in 13 videos, maybe spanning, oh good, a car alarm, about, 2 hours of total content, would you say?
Probably a bit more.
Yeah, a bit more maybe.
Maybe less, yeah.
Well, the longest is half an hour, isn't it? But the shortest is like 2 minutes.
But the rest are all like 10 minutes
Yeah.
long at least, I'd say.
In that span, he takes us through 13 snippets of a game
So
called...
can I just say 13 of... And I'm just going to I'm just going to insert, when your teacher does the little like arrow.
Yeah.
And they're like, you missed out this phrase.
Yeah.
13 of the most haunted.
Oh, yes, sorry,
Of
I
the
did
most
forget
haunted.
that bit.
Snippets of...
Of what appears to be superficially an unfinished PlayStation 1 game that no one's ever heard of.
Sorry, an unfinished...
Haunted. Yeah, again,
Yeah.
you keep pulling me
I'm
up if
just
I
going to
miss the
let you
word
know,
haunted.
yeah.
And so I was immediately taken by it, and I watched the first couple of episodes before
spookful
haunted,
episodes.
spooky episodes. The first one proceeds fairly normally, and it's
Normally brackets terrifyingly.
Normally, in hindsight, the haunting was already happening, and it was really my bad that I didn't pick up on the vibes earlier. But when you watch it for the first time, the video seems like a fairly standard, if weirdly popular, sounds like 1 million views now. It's been out for about a year and a bit. Let's play of a game no one's ever heard of, and it's a sort of weird, ostensibly like a collecting pets based game that just has
not pets in the tone that you would understand.
Like, oh, do you have any pets?
Oh,
yeah,
look, let's go grab a chinchilla.
Horrid.
A one-legged birth.
That's a little foreshadowing there.
Wow.
So the
one-legged
game
rebirth.
yeah, exactly. It starts off with only a vague sense of unease, and it's a bit like, ha, look at this weird unfinished game.
One of the things I'd like to throw in at this point is that, like, what reading I have done about this, because obviously, like, the main question, I suppose, with anything like this is this a real unfinished PlayStation 1 game, or is this a fake unfinished PlayStation 1 game that someone
But I didn't have that question for a
created in an
while.
engine?
Because
Really?
the first one is plausible, I think, because nothing that weird happens.
No, I recognise.
But in hindsight, of course.
Yeah, but what I've found in my reading is that obviously, like, the overriding assumption would be that it is not.
It's a web series.
Yes, but that a lot of what I found is comments from people who make such things, saying that it's the most unfathomably accurate recreation of not just PlayStation 1 graphics, but quality, gameplay, like visual artifacts of style,
Typefaces and things.
typefaces,
And like colour
sound,
limitations that the console had.
just literally everything. I read a comment from a guy who went through everything. Like, he makes these things like for a living essentially, and he went through a lot of things that I can just about grasp in terms of recreation of graphics and a game, but was like, if it's not, it's just the best one.
Yeah, it's
that
just
there is.
incredibly well done. Because what happens is, as you might have guessed, it gets gradually more and more spooky. The first real spook comes in the form of he's been left, when this game has been delivered to Paul in a fairly enigmatic way that we don't get much detail about. There's a note about some kind of like code you could put in, like a cheat, and some steps to become, I believe, quote, the spooky shadow monster, something like that.
Yes.
Something horrid in that vein. And
Shadow Monster Man.
Shadow Monster Man, yeah, even better. And so he executes this first step, and then it takes a real turn. But in a kind of like, oh, it might be like an Easter egg. Easter eggs are always a bit scary, and I always find the stories about like the original Easter egg where someone made like a hidden room in, I can't remember what the game is, Quest or something, or Adventure, maybe it's called Adventure. You had to like transport a pixel, which no one knew you could do, to a specific room and put it in a certain place and then go somewhere else. And then you're in a room that just had like the designer's name. And that was it. There's something kind of haunting about people shouting through the dead medium of a game. And that is played on very well by a bunch of these ARG-esque things, but this one just does it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And I do recommend sitting down to watch all of it. I think we should dive into the most horrific kind of real life connotations of it, just to kind of ground you in how,
Just to give a nice cheery setup
unsettling
to my
it
little
is.
feature that
Yeah.
I've got later.
So there are lots of references to a person called Candice Newmaker.
Well, yeah, the only real one that you get is that there's one of the scare quotes pets is called Randis, and the only other real reference that you get beyond elements that relate to the story is that you are potentially called a Newmaker.
Yeah, your character is Newmaker, and you're in a
Newmaker.
place called the Newmaker
Newmaker
Plain.
Plain.
And there are also these sort of oblique references to birth.
Yeah, that's what I was on about with
And there's like a
references to the
backwards
story.
scribble on a wall that's like, do you remember being born? And then there's something else about rebirth.
Yeah, you can be pushed beyond remembering rebirth and whatnot.
Or you know, classic like PlayStation 1 vibes. You remember?
Yeah.
I think Crash Bandicoot had similar.
Yeah, I remember
There's that bit where you
Spyro
jump over
3
Aku
Year of
Aku.
the Dragon. You meet that Yeti and he's
he's
like,
like,
I was
"How about
reborn.
Weird tangent it took. So people have developed in the way that only the internet does this 84-page living document that
It's
is both a
such
history
madness.
of the facts and also documentation of the theories associated with like what's going on with Petscop, because it all remains very enigmatic. The last one was released 3 months ago or something, so we kind of might be due for another one soon.
Can I jump in? This is a generally related,
Okay.
But tech question.
Yes.
See, when I went into this document,
Yes.
I wasn't the only person reading it at the time, as well. You wouldn't have been.
I know where you're going with
And
this.
everyone, it says about the other readers, and they were all there as anonymous and then
Fox,
animal,
yeah.
anonymous raccoon. And I was like, oh, I wonder what I am. But then I clicked on my icon, and the only thing it said was that I'm Declan Delane with my email address underneath. So I just want to confirm.
That the government knows you spend all your time reading Petscop manuals.
What I want to know is, to you reading that document, is it, wow, Anonymous Otter, Anonymous
Declan
Fox,
Delane.
Declan Delane,
Colindale, North London.
Anonymous Elmo.
Yeah, no, you would have been anonymised as well.
Thank
Maybe. Who knows?
Thanks, fuck.
This document is like incredibly detailed. I read through all of it in about 2 hours while I was like, eating and doing
I
other
finished
stuff.
it like yesterday.
And it has blow by blow of pretty much every episode that's been released, alongside external research that's been done into things like they have different theories accounting for a unified view of the whole thing, like colour theory, where they reckon that each character is represented by different colours, and so when text changes it tells you who's speaking. All these things about like point of view, like different characters might see each other differently.
Yep.
It's all very confusing. The most horrific part, however, relates to
By a long way.
the real life person that was Candace Newmaker, who was a 10-year-old girl. I'm going to read you just a bit from the Wikipedia. Candace and Jean Newmaker. No, Candace is basically, I'll fill you in. Candace was, I think in like social care, little girl when she was about 5 or something, and was adopted by someone called Jean Newmaker. This is in America, and she was born in 1989, so it's not that long ago. The section on Wikipedia that is the most problematic is called Attachment Therapy and Candace's Death.
This was, I just want to make this clear. This was 2000?
Yeah.
This wasn't like, this wasn't the
Middle Ages.
1800s. This was literally same year as the Sydney Olympics were going on.
Candace and Jean Newmaker, her adopted mother, travelled to Evergreen, Colorado, which is a horribly like upbeat sounding name, in April 2000.
It's so appallingly American, isn't it? Could be
for a
anywhere.
$7,000 2-week, quote, intensive session of attachment therapy with Connell Watkins upon a referral from a licensed psychologist in North Carolina. Skip that bit. Following the script for that day's treatment, Candace was wrapped in a flannel sheet and covered with pillows to simulate a womb or birth canal, and was told to fight her way out of it.
I'm going to go ahead, and I know it's not our deal,
Yeah.
but I'm going to throw in a content warning
Oh, yeah.
here.
It's quite horrid. Child death.
Well, child death, like excretion.
Oh, yeah, but I was going to
vomit.
skip through those bits. probably.
But I mean, it's horrid. If you don't like horrid things,
This is one of them.
skip about.
Skip till you hear Declan's feature.
Okay, yeah.
And was told to fight her way out of it with the apparent expectation that the experience would help her, quote, attach to her adoptive mother. 4 of the adults, weighing a combined total of 673 pounds, used their hands and feet to push on Candace's head, chest, and 70-pound body to resist her attempts to free herself, while she complained, pleaded, and even screamed for help and air, unable to escape from the sheet. Candace stated 11 times during the session that she was dying, to which Ponder responded, "You want to die? Okay, then die. Go ahead. Die right now." 20 minutes into the session, Candace had vomited inside the sheet, and she was nonetheless kept restrained within. 40 minutes into the session, Jean asked Candace, "Baby, do you want to be born?" Candace faintly responded no, and this would ultimately be her last word. To this, Ponder replied, "Quitter, quitter, 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 quit, 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 she's a quitter." Jean Newmaker, who said later she felt rejected by Candace's ability to be reborn, was asked to leave the room in order for Candace not to, quote, pick up on Jean's sorrow. eventually she's been still for a while. I wonder why. And
Spoilers.
yeah, paramedics are called. They surmise that she'd been unconscious. and not breathing
My
for some
favourite bit is when the paramedics arrive, the therapists tell the paramedics, seemingly forgetting that they'd been recording the whole thing on video, that, we just left her alone for 5 minutes during an attachment therapy session, came
yeah.
back, she'd shit
She was not
herself,
breathing.
vomited, and wasn't breathing in the middle of all of these sheets.
Also, I missed out this bit. After talking for 5 minutes, they unwrapped Candace and found that she was motionless. Upon seeing this, Watkins declared, "Oh, there she is. She's sleeping in her vomit." Like, that is the parlance of
most
an absolute
Psychopath, yeah.
Just, there she is. Like,
Well, this is someone who
strange.
tried everything they could to kill a kid.
The entire 70 minutes of the fatal session, as well as 10 hours of other sessions from the preceding days, had been videotaped as a matter of course. All the videos were shown at the trial. So the good news, I suppose, relatively speaking, is that they were both convicted of reckless child abuse resulting in death, received 16-year prison sentence. Doesn't sound
Not
like ages. does it?
anywhere really near enough.
And what the game is trying to say about that is very much unclear, but it really, let me tell you,
Doesn't feel like it's saying it was good.
It doesn't feel like it's saying it was good, that the game itself is good. It doesn't really handle it frivolously either. There's a real weight to everything it's talking about.
Absolutely.
And
That's what's haunting.
That's also what makes it different from a lot of these, some kid has drawn some fake game thing on Newgrounds and then pretends there's a ghost in it. There's a real gravitas to what's going on with it that they could still fuck away depending on how they handle the rest.
Yeah.
But at the moment it kind of feels like an actual artistic attempt to draw attention to something I'd never heard of.
No.
And was frankly, like you say, baffled that was so recent.
Yeah.
That people had, that seemed to be a thing you could pay for as a service. That's fine, we'll just hold down a kid.
Even that as a mother, you could watch someone do that and be like, there's a sentence in there where it's Jean Newmaker said afterwards that she felt offended by her daughter's reluctance to be reborn. It's she wasn't reluctant to be reborn. She was dead.
Yeah.
She was literally dead in a pile of sheets you were sitting on.
Yeah. So it's very strange, and it sort of, upon learning about that element, you revisit it mentally, or indeed I've now watched it again.
Literally, of course.
A
Same.
few times.
Yeah.
And it just has this very strange somber vibe that you don't really get with other media
Most
so much.
comedy podcasts.
Well, yeah, that as well. But just, I think it's quite impressive to be able to make
Extraordinarily.
something that is even if we accept the conceit, it's a video of a guy playing a game, and all of a sudden it's taken on a whole new avenue where it's trying to kind of have a point. I think that's quite
None of it's
impressive.
none of it is cumbersomely or cack-handedly done.
No.
It's very it doesn't it in fact the exact opposite. It reveals these things to you but in a very kind of obscurantist way, doesn't it? It's not handing everything to you. It's not going, what about Candace Newmaker, huh? That was a shame. We might.
Yeah. That's the name of the show.
It's little things drip fed to you that you want to explore because frankly you were terrified by them.
Yeah. So, check it out if you feel up to it. It's interesting watching. And if you don't feel up to it, I would still recommend reading either the Eurogamer article, or I'll link to as well. And the New Yorker did a piece on it that was quite interesting, but it's now about a year old, so it's a little outdated, but still worth a read. So there we go. That's Pets Cop. Thanks for bringing that into our lives.
What I love most about this is that Dan's brought this into our lives, but he hadn't seen any of it.
And I was very worried.
And then he came round to see us. I cooked us some dinner, and then we went to the pub quiz. Came back, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I haven't seen it." I went, "Well, you have to watch it." And he went, "Oh okay." And we watched the first 10 of 13.
Yeah.
And he was so unfathomably afraid of it that the next day he just messaged us saying, "Well, I've been having Pets Cop nightmares."
Everyone has. Didn't your girlfriend have a nightmare that there'd been some development in it?
Well, yeah. So yeah,
She had a meta
it was that night because she'd been terrified. We watched the first 3, which are scary, but they're not.
In a way, I find them the most upsetting because it's the premonition of
Yeah,
unease.
and it's the most normal in
Yeah.
a sense. So the things that are odd seem odder.
Yeah.
But they're not like.
They're not explicitly creepy. It's not
No.
like watching a horror film.
And by like number 5, she was kind of clutching me, not looking at the screen. And we took a break. And I was like, maybe you should go to bed because we are going to watch the rest. And she was like, no, I'll feel better if I watch them all.
Conquer it.
Watched nearly all, fell asleep during the last one,
Yeah.
came to bed, got into bed. I was just on my laptop reading the document.
The Pets Cop doc.
And in a weird turn of events, it wasn't me waking up shouting.
Twist.
She woke up and was like, huh, what's wrong? And I was just sat watching, like, I think I had a Hearthstone
me,
video
pal?
on at the time. And I was like, well, what is wrong? So I thought you were shout. And it turned out that she'd had a nightmare that Pets Cop was on the screen. That I was watching it on our television
Yeah.
in our room. And something had happened in it. And I'd gone,
Why'd you become a Romanian cartoon character?
well, I can't say. Maybe that's just how she sees me. We'll have to
could
ask
be,
her.
yeah.
She's in the bath, so she's probably listening to all of it.
Nodding along.
Yeah.
Yes, that is how I see him. Yes, just like the Count in Sesame Street. That's Pets Cop for you. Smashing a feature.
Well, friend.
Uh-huh.
You
Just
know what? I'm going
friend.
to go ahead and
normally
say.
have more than
I'm
one
going to go ahead and say
epithet.
I've just had a message
Mm-hmm.
from my girlfriend that says I am and I do. No, friend. I'm going to say family member, brother
Oh,
of the show,
okay.
and Cont, super Cont,
Yeah.
Kangaroo.
Oh, yeah.
We've been in touch with them a bit this week,
We have indeed.
but today on the old tweetosphere.
I've been there.
He introduced me to something that seems to be a trend that's otherwise passed me by, called hashtag Disney 4.
Disney 4.
Yes.
Okay.
And
4
what
as
it
in,
is,
like, the number 4?
As in the
or
number 4.
What's it for? Or forehand?
the number 4, but written as the word.
Okay.
Wow. And what it is 4 Disney characters,
Okay.
4 images of Disney characters who you feel embody who you are.
Okay.
Or, as I've seen other people on Twitter describe it as, 4 big moods to which you relate from
see
Disney characters.
Yeah.
And Kangaroo, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing it. He's put it on the old Twitter, so I
One would
assume
assume
not. Has gone for quite a cool set, quite an interesting set.
Okay.
He's gone for Zazu,
Oh, Zazu. Big fan of
the
Zazu.
sort of toucan, the
Sorry,
Bluecan.
is that the remake of Zazu with...
Sounded racist somehow.
what did you say? The Bluecan.
The Bluecan.
Who's doing Zazu in the new live action one? Do you remember?
They're probably getting Rowan Atkin.
No.
Oh
I
no!
think
Wait,
'cause
hang on a
he's-
minute.
He was busy or
It's
something.
John Oliver.
Oh, so is it that Zazu? Or is it...
No, it is the
good.
Rowan
It's the good
Atkinson.
one. Cool.
It's the good, not
Imagine
horrid.
getting John Oliver.
Let's not talk about it.
It's too upsetting.
I've only got expletives to say. He's gone for Zazu.
Okay.
He's gone for someone.
So hang on, let's unpack what that means first of all.
Hang on a minute. Let me go through the 4.
Okay.
And we can unpack. He's gone for someone called Dipper Pines,
Oh.
who is a cap wearing,
Uh-huh.
I think,
Sounds like
child
a cool guy.
from what I think is a Disney TV series called Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Gravity Falls. I
Yeah,
haven't
this
seen
is
it,
the
though.
picture.
Okay.
I recognise the artwork.
It's got a cool hat, that's for sure.
Very cool hat. He's gone for, and you're going to love this because I certainly did. He's gone for Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh. And what a picture it is.
What about the fact that Peter Capaldi is going to be
I'm
Rabbit in the
so
new film?
excited.
That film looks like the best thing ever made, even though Ewan McGregor's in it.
And he's gone for Childhood Randall from Monsters University.
Oh, that's a great one.
The
Childhood Randall
glasses.
is such a great character.
It's such an amazing idea.
It is.
And I've tried my best to think as little as possible about what any of this means as a whole. But all I know is that I am warmed of heart
Yeah, that's a great combination.
by this collection of images, even if I knew nothing of the characters.
I like because Zazu, he's quite self-assured, isn't he? He's sassy. He's a position of authority, Zazu.
He is
not
indeed.
the authority, but
Goodness, no, he's not the Lion King.
No, well, no,
But he's the
precluded
bird
from
ambassador.
that. Yeah, that's his
The
spin-off.
the original idea.
Lion King 6, the bird envoy.
The birdasseter.
Wow. That would be scraping the barrel beyond the bottom. So Zazu's got with him a kind of, like I say, an authority, a self-assurance. He's sassy, isn't he, Zazu, a bit?
He is.
He's not afraid to speak his mind to that
No.
Simba. He's like, I think it's time that you and I, something a heart to heart. What is it? What's the missing word?
No, I'm not going to help
It's
you, I'm
time
afraid.
that you and I arranged a
There
heart
we
to
go.
heart. And Simba, of course, replies, well, Zazu, he says, well, Bird Ambassador,
Kings don't need advice from little hornbills for a start.
And Zazu, a weaker bird, would have died on the spot as a result of that kind of clapback.
But he doesn't. All he does is
doesn't.
go over a waterfall.
And that is cool, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah.
Little child Randall has what I would call a propensity for good at his core, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And you can see that.
There's talent.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of talent. He's a great scarer.
I think that what Kangaroo's saying is, you know, I think it's a little
He can
subtle
turn
hint.
invisible.
It's like, well, maybe, like good,
Like
all good
chameleons.
kangaroos can. I think he's saying like, you know, don't mess.
Or I'll turn into Steve Buscemi.
That's the thing.
That's always a good threat to wield. So I suppose what you're getting at with this Disney 4 is for us to kind of come up with for ourselves or between us or something like that.
I'm thinking for ourselves. I was thinking if we are going to do it as a real feature, it would be for each other.
Okay. Yeah, should we do that on Wednesday then? That could be a Wednesday feature.
You want to do that for Wednesday?
Disney 4.
We've got to come up with a Disney 4 for each. I think we should have a Disney 4 for ourselves.
Yeah.
And a Disney 4 for the other and see how well they line up.
Okay. Are we going for...
It includes Pixar. It includes all Disney property.
okay. If it's too obscure like Disney Channel, I won't know. I've never caught up with the Disney Channel.
I won't
Like, if
be-
you say I'm Hannah Montana, I'll just nod and be like, cool. And I won't
You're
have much more to
Cody
say.
from The Sweet Life of
Oh,
Zack and
yeah.
Cody. No, I don't
Love
know
that
any of
guy.
that bullshit either, so I won't be partaking.
Okay, well, let's do that. You heard it here first.
You're doing a little
guys.
shake on that? We're doing
Wednesday,
a-
Disney 4. Tune in. We've got, I think we'll make it a shorter one today because there's football on. So
There is, yeah.
We've got another email to get through as well. Bit of shame, mate.
And a bit more as well.
Have we? What's the bit more? Oh, God. It begins with
You
an
remember.
R and it rhymes with Caview.
Oh, a teaser.
There it is. That's for you to mull over. Backlog is the subject line from Mark Supercon Stratfold. Isaac and Declan. I have to admit to suffering a bit of a podcast log jam, which is, I don't think those two words have ever been next to each other in a sentence before. They're arriving in my podcast app of choice, Overcast if you're asking, faster than I can listen to them. Normally I have the balance about right and I've managed my subscriptions to provide me with enough content for a normal week. However, at the moment you have gifted me with so many additional episodes, which of course is great, he hastens to add. Also, I'm finding the World Cup to be a major time drain, not only listening to the games, but also some of the many World Cup podcasts out there. My son finds it so old school, says Mark, that I listen to the games on the radio, the match commentary on my phone. But I find this such an entertaining way to engage with the matches. It also means I can listen while I walk. Even when I can watch a match on the TV, if it's on BBC, I'll often make use of their great option to have the radio rather than TV commentary. I like football on the radio. I think it's fun.
This is where I've got a point of disagreement because I hate
Radio
listening
football?
to football on
Really?
the radio. I think it comes
find it really
of
relaxing.
being a West Ham fan. Therefore, as a fan of a team, often losing. But there are several elements that I don't like. I hate not being able to see. B, I find radio football commentators really poor at understanding what the
What football
audience,
is. Oh, what they can see
what
and
little
what they
the
can hear.
audience have. Because let's take one of the more extreme examples, but somewhere where it still counts, is something like a penalty.
Yeah.
They'll go, I don't know, let's say it's us. Mark Noble steps up, he strikes it! You hear, yeah! But you're like, well, whose fans are that? Is that the home? Are those the West Ham fans cheering that he scored? Or are those the away fans cheering that it's been saved? And they just wait for way too long before going, and it's saved! And you go, oh, for fuck's sake,
sent off.
Goodness me, he's picked up the ball, stuck a
sinkhole.
knife into it, then into the ref.
Scream
It's
that his name's
madness.
Caliban.
Hope you were able to hear all that. And you go, he goes down in the box. And that's right, it's given us a free kick against them, booked for diving, away it goes, and you're like, well, I
they
don't know
scored
any
a
of
goal
this.
that I
You've got
forgot to
to
mention.
let me know.
There is something inherently comedic about the futility of trying to convey football
Yeah.
or any sport really on the
Yeah,
radio.
exactly.
And I think that's why I like it. I find
It's-
if it's on in the background, I think it's a nice.
I have had to tell all of I might have mentioned this before on the show, all of the people that I tutor, particularly the boys, and particularly when I was tutoring the football academies, that a game of football is by far the single worst choice for the subject of a story to try and write in 45 minutes, because nothing you can say can convey the excitement of football on a page.
Or just the speed, I suppose.
Yeah.
And if it could, it would just look like a total mess of.
It'd be
of
horrid.
language, a great
So,
big
like,
whiteboard.
just don't do it.
It's very common.
And
as
also,
well for
like,
people to
one
do.
of the things is that it's a sport, perhaps more than any other, that's so the commentary of which I mostly despise on the TV or the radio or really anywhere, is so like wrapped up in its own idiom and its own euphemisms that it just can't. There's no unique football commentary. It all sounds like exactly the same. You could probably overlay it on any game anywhere and it wouldn't look too out of place.
Yeah.
You'd be like, didn't know that was him, but all right, fair enough. So it's just so dull to write about.
It's not terribly explanatory.
But I understand the kind of excitement of listening to it on the radio, but I have an
very
automatic negative response because it normally doesn't work out in my favour.
A further drain on my time, continues Mark, is that we are now in the middle of 3 consecutive Grand Prix, more radio commentary to follow. This is more out of necessity than choice, due to the demise of the free-to-air coverage. I didn't know that. Do they not show...
No, it's all like Sky and Sky Sports now.
As, unlike football, I do find F1 better to watch than listen to. I, myself, find F1 both dull to watch and to listen to.
I'm not an F1 fan either, but I lament with Mark the passage of the free to watch
Yeah, it was good that it was there.
coverage because I have many a fond memory, though I had no interest at all. And while I also doubt that she knew what the fuck was going on of watching the Formula One on a Sunday afternoon with my nan, he would put it on, I think, more out of habit than knowledge, interest, support.
That, again, is quite a nice thing to have on in the background because there's a pleasant whizziness to the soundtrack. And he's driven it. That's what they say.
That's it.
Like.
They're both driving.
They're still in cars, Mark.
Oh, so fast! That's right. It's same order as it was 40 laps ago, but still 51 to go.
And the last thing, says Mark, is that all this week there is a jazz festival in Paris La Défense.
Now, this I am very jealous about.
In fact, right outside our office. That's pretty cool. This provides 2 to 3 hours of music at lunchtime and again in the evening. That's sick. All this is to say that I'm running behind on listening to your fine podcast, but I will catch up. Now Mark is a man of his word, isn't he? So when he says he will catch up, we won't even have to hold him to it.
But at least we know that he won't hear us slagging off Formula One for probably a month
So
at
we
least.
can, we can
no,
hide
that's
and
right.
change our identities. Now, you may have caught a subtle allusion before, just a few minutes ago, in fact, to a final
Feature.
a kind of cap on the end of this fine episode.
Are we doing this? Do you want me to do how to get in touch?
Yeah, okay. Why don't you do that now? Yeah.
Oh, you want me to do that now?
Yeah.
Is that not what you were referring to?
I think why don't you do how to get in touch, and then when we get to a certain part of the whole discussion, I'm going to
the
just jump
contact
back
form.
in. You don't give it away.
Okay, yeah, no.
I've made some big updates. It's
Okay.
in blue now.
Okay, so if you, for whatever reason, I'm not leaning or hinting towards any of them. I couldn't possibly say what Isaac's got prepared. Seems to be something about the submission button for the contact form.
Yeah.
He's excited about it. You probably won't be. But if you did want to get in touch for whatever reason, you could email us, as the wonderful Mark Supercont Stratford did.
And Dange,
As did Dange, Supercont, friend, family member,
big contributor pal, BCP,
sofa bed.
dweller,
I was going to say dweller as well, yeah.
my boss from when he forwarded all his calls to me and I had to pick up the phone and say, hello, D'Angelo Management.
Agent
Agent
extraordinaire.
of the Stars, yeah.
Yeah. you can email us, TAS at shame.city. Alternatively, you could get in touch via the contact form on the website, shame.city/contact.
Yeah, I don't actually have anything more to say about that bit, though. I think you've got what we'd call the wrong end of the stick, whereas I've got the right end, and you're probably holding a different end and not the one I
I'm feeling
intended.
like a
just keep
stick
going.
holding fool.
You should. As well you ought.
Well, I suppose you could get in touch via Twitter, okay? If your
Here it
if your
is.
thoughts are, able to fit in a 280 character limit, or if they're more in a thread, properly formatted, we don't accept weird kind of like 1 out of 2 and then a random tweet 2 out. No, we don't do that.
No.
You could get in touch with the show at That's a Shamecast. Isaac,
At
you're
Isaac BD, and you're at
DE Delane.
cool. And
so
that's
you're
the
extra.
Twitter section over. So what else is there?
It's not Twitter.
No, there's nothing about the Twitter either. That's staying very much as it is because it's doing so well. Why fix it if it is not yet broke? They say.
Well, yeah. Is it? Oh, it must be a Womibomb. A word of mouth. Word. That's it.
Talk me through
because
that.
I'm going to see Emily. Word of mouth is best of mouth.
Right, and what?
Because of the mugs that she got us.
How does that kind
word
of
of mouth.
factor in?
Tell a friend. Tell a family member. Tell an enemy.
And
tell a foe.
what could I have to kind of add on to that?
I
Like,
don't know.
invented a new
That's
way.
why I'm so excited.
Not that bit either.
Well, there's only one thing left then, which is the Patreon.
Oh,
So Patreon, yeah. If you've
I've
got
shut it down.
oh, big
Guys, that was a big joke.
No, okay, well, thank goodness. He'll get to the real news once I've finished pitching it, which is that the Patreon is to be found at patreon.com/ShameCity. There's so much extra content for as little as 50 cents an episode. What?
On the 1st of July 2018,
No.
as on the 1st of every month, it has been, not depressing, but it's a bit like when you ask your uncle for a particular present. You're like, oh, uncle, I'd love FIFA 15 on PlayStation 3. And he's like, don't worry, son,
It was
I'll
a few
get
years
that.
ago, this wish.
Yeah, and he says, I'll get that for you. Christmas comes a-knocking, Santa's at the door. What's that? On the floor, it's a gift from
he's got
Uncle.
FIFO 2015,
Oh, no.
the Giant Simulator.
That's so silly, isn't it?
I was thinking that it was more like I don't know if any other depressed, hopeless romantics have ever done this, but where you send a kind of a text to someone, and you really want a reply, but you don't want to hear whether or not you've got the reply because you're like, then it's so definite. You just want the hope. Okay. So you put your phone on silent and you throw it away and you try and get on with something else. And then you come back to your phone later, faux casually, and you're like,
might as well have a look.
See if they've responded. And then you look up and there's nothing.
-1 messages. They've actually deleted.
They sent yours
messages.
back.
On the 1st of each month, I get an email from some service that I don't remember subscribing to that collates all our reviews. Mm-hmm. And when I say all of our reviews, I mean for the last 6 months, it's been, hey, Isaac, 0 new reviews for That's a Shame. And then it always says, thank you for trying, the name of the service. Here's your digest of last month's podcast reviews for That's a Shame. 0. And then it's like, woo! That's the end, usually. This time, 1 new review. Here's the subject. 2 lovers spouting into the void.
Wow.
5 stars.
Whoa!
Keeping up the almost perfect 5-star average that we won't go into for now.
No. The almost perfect 5-star average.
He shouted to his girlfriend on the adjacent room. It's from Ollie from down the hall from UK. Do you remember Ollie from down the hall from UK?
Ollie from down the hall from UK. I'm assuming Ollie from down the hall from halls in UK in university.
And all that. And he actually left the review on June 7th, so this is an overdue reading.
You just haven't been looking.
No, but I only get it once a month. I can't go searching. With tenderness and passion, Isaac and Declan guide us through stories, anecdotes, and true crime drama aplenty. Definitely worth a listen. 5 stars. So there it is, guys. The hype train has begun.
Thank you
It's up to
very
you to
much.
continue it.
Harpist, friend, patron, and supercont.
Absolutely.
Ollie Ross.
Very, very much appreciated. And like I say, he's passing on the torch now to the next generation of reviewers, and that's you at home. If you haven't left a review yet, head over to shane.city/review or reviews, where you can do just that. I've been Isaac. You've been.
I've been Declan.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
Bye, guys.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you.